Sometimes the most insignificant, strange happenings that take place in our lives, even those that leave us out of sync and out of time, out of place, can prove to be the most important. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 3 of Shemot, as we now begin the fascinating story of the life of Moses. In chapter number 2 of Shemot, we read that there is a Levite man who marries a Levite woman, and they have a son, a nice son, a good-looking son, a healthy son. And they have hid him from the Mitzrites for 3 to 4 months. It's at about this age that the baby's crying and vocals become much more prominent. It's not sleeping as much. And they didn't think that they could hide this child any longer. The mother takes a wicker basket, seals it with pitch inside and out. Now, where have we heard about a water vessel of some sort being sealed inside and out? Noah's day. It's an ark. It's a type of the Torah that we are hidden in to go through the storms of life. And so Moshe is placed in the Nile, in the basket, and Miriam, his sister, waits by the shore to see what his fate would be. Yah is not finished with this child, has grand designs for this child. It's a strange, peculiar situation, but it's extremely important, and Yah knows exactly what he's doing. Pharaoh's daughter comes. She comes to mikvah, to enter into the water to bathe. When she enters into her version of a mikvah, a setting of herself to be apart, to be set apart, she finds the Torah symbolized by this ark. She opens it up and she finds Moshe, who is a type of the Messiah. Beautiful picture here. Coming to a place of desiring to change your status, a mikvah, a cleansing, looking to become clean, leads you to the Torah where you will find the encapsulated Messiah in it. Beautiful picture here. Moshe is arranged to be nursed by his own mother up until probably 3-4 years of age, where he would have, according to Proverbs, Mishlei, chapter number 1, verse 8, learn the Torah of the mother. Whatever realization of Torah that they had orally at that time, he would have learned that from his mother, understood to some degree his Hebrew heritage, even though he was being raised as a Mitzrite. Now, what I find significant here is that he would have been raised Egyptian or Mitzrite in every sense of the word. He would have been very much exposed to the mechanics, the protocols, the behind-the-scenes operations of what the Pharaoh's palace was all about. The glitz, the glamour, he'd seen it on a daily basis enough that it really didn't impress him the way that a first-timer into the palace would have seen. So later on, many years later, when he comes to deal with Pharaoh, the fact that there is gold on things and jewels and riches, he's seen it. He knows what it's all about. He knows the protocols of the palace. He understands how to approach Pharaoh. He's not overwhelmed or enamored by where it is that he's standing or who it is that he is speaking to. That's a few chapters away. Here we find then that he, knowing his Hebraic heritage, seeks to find a way that he can minister to his Hebrew people. Maybe he thinks of himself as the caped Crusader in their behalf. He sees a Hebrew being beaten by a Mitzrite. He raises his hand against the Mitzrite, kills him, buries him in the sand. He could have just arrested the man. He could have found charges. He could have done this legally, but he did it dramatically. Why? Why break the law here? I think personally it was to reveal his passion to his own people, to help them to understand this is how powerfully I am willing to move in your behalf in order to secure your freedom. Instead of appreciating that, they mocked him and threatened him with it. The next day, he sees two Hebrews arguing, one about to strike the other, when he seeks to intervene. Now, I don't think that things are just written into the storyline or included in the information of the Torah on a whim or without any purpose. So when I read that there are two Hebrews who are arguing, the first thing that comes to my mind is Ephraim and Yehudah. Symbolically, at least, at a little different level than the Peshat, the standard reading of the word. We see Ephraim, the house of Israel, arguing with the house of Yehudah. One about to strike the other, and that's about where we are in many situations. Moshe, the giver of the Torah, seeks to intervene, and their response is, "Who made you a master over us?" Both the house of Israel and the house of Yehudah much more than us, seeks to recognize the authority of the Torah of Moshe, live by it, be governed by it, develop a culture for it. However, the realization of the Torah correctly, following it as it is designed to be followed, following it in genuine heart, can be dramatically different than that which is experienced in both houses. I would say that both houses have taken liberties, built fences, created situations that the Torah really doesn't support. Who made you the authority over us? This is a question that Moshe is addressed with numerous times throughout the wilderness experience. Perhaps it's a question that he faced for the remainder of his life. Who made you a ruler over us? So he flees knowing that his Hebraic root has been found. He finds himself in the middle of nowhere watching the sheep of his newly acquired father-in-law. So we have then the last days, it would seem, of Moshe spent in nothingness. Yah has him exactly where he needs to be, doing exactly what it is that he needs to be doing. He needs to get away from the rank and the prestige, the splendor of palace life, and learn the nomadic servanthood of a shepherd. In the Hebraic Roots movement, we have quite a bit of rank and prestige, acknowledged status, name recognition. But what is most important for us to be learning in these days is servanthood and shepherd life. Sheep, the vast majority of the people who are part of this Hebrew community, are like as the prophets described in Jeremiah and I think Ezekiel's, that we are like sheep without a shepherd, roaming, vulnerable to attack. I don't think we understand how weak and vulnerable our defenses are at this time. We are in desperate need of men and women to be shepherds, to rise up in our ranks, to begin to quietly, methodically, consistently, continually teach and encourage those that are new converts, new in their exposure to the Torah, to teach them with a gentle heart, a pure heart. Moshe had the side experience of learning the ways of the wilderness while he was there. In just a few short years, he's going to be leading a nation through these same paths. Shepherds have lived, walked, and determined the right path. And they're ready now. They need to be ready to lead others through those same areas that they can do so safely. May Yah grant to us shepherds. A little more tomorrow. We'll see you then. Shalom.